Hawkeyes 0-1 so far this year and trying to capture trophy games. Of course, that loss to the Cyclones here just a few weeks ago back in September in Jack Trice Stadium. Iowa will have to go on the road in 3 of their 4 trophy games this year. The second being this game on Saturday against Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Badgers, a struggling group, a team that's likely going to be playing its third-string quarterback, and a team that is still reeling at 0-2 in the conference. We're going to talk about the Badgers and the Hawkeyes, my prediction for this week, and I'll also give you what Vegas says, what the Sharps are saying about the Hawkeyes and the Badgers in just one moment. But first, a reminder to be sure you get your child or your family friend a copy of Maya the Malamute. What a great gift idea for any young person, or perhaps you just want to support this awesome foundation. What Jeff Knight and his team down there at Maya's Spark of Courage, what they're doing is taking Maya to that children's hospital, the Stead Family Children's Hospital, every single month, giving those sick kids a copy of this book. You can support the foundation, read all about Maya's courageous story, this Malamute fighting through a couple of life-threatening situations. You can read the story. Be sure you pass it on to a young person who can be inspired from Maya, like so many young people at the Children's Hospital have been. Maya's Spark of Courage, the book Maya the Malamute. Get your copy at mayamalamute.com. You can also request a signed copy, which will include a signature from Maya herself. Folks, we're talking about Iowa and Wisconsin, the Heartland Trophy, the battle for the Heartland Trophy. Iowa will be in Madison for a night game, and I would say it's better to play at Camp Randall Stadium in the morning because the students have this thing about getting there late, and I've been given explanations over the years because of a tragedy that happened years ago, so they line the students up in a single file line. I don't know that it matters this year because based on what I have seen in that stadium, it's been very well below average as it relates to fan engagement, attendance. I don't know the official attendance numbers. I do know in September I watched the Miami-Wisconsin game, and it was a putrid showing as far as a crowd from Camp Randall standards. Perhaps they'll show up because this is a rivalry game. I do think they're playing better in some facets. If you missed my preview, I'll throw it up here in the corner. It was released last night. I'm recording this prediction video in the afternoon hours of Friday, October 10th. But Iowa will have its hands full with that Wisconsin defensive front. I think that's the biggest challenge here, especially if Gronowski does not play. I was given indication last night, not long after I recorded the video, where I said that it sounded like Gronowski was set to at least give it a go. I've since been given indication that it's a little bit more murky than that. He may go, he may not go. I would say based on the feedback I've gotten, it's 50-50. I mean, he's got to go through warmups and feel good in Madison. And I just don't know. Does Iowa trot him out there knowing they got a massive home game against Penn State next week where they're likely going to need his legs? I think the game plan for this Saturday works regardless of who's playing at quarterback. Now, certainly Mark's health is of utmost importance. He's the most important player on this team. But I do think you're going to see a heavy dose of handoffs. I do think they will need to take a shot or two at times, right? I don't think it's just going to be all close to the vest. So can Hank Brown, Jeremy Hecklinski execute in those situations? Maybe, maybe not. So that is a factor. You'd much rather have Mark Gronowski. But I do think you're going to see a field position battle. Iowa is going to be relatively conservative in short yardage situations. We saw that 2 years ago when Iowa played in Madison. By the way, Vegas has this game, Iowa 3.5-point favorite. That's smaller. That's a smaller, narrower spread than I would have expected. As I said, Wisconsin will be playing its third-string quarterback tomorrow, likely to play its third-string quarterback, who did play a week ago against Michigan. Billy Edwards still out, their second-stringer who'd played. He is also out. So, yeah, I mean, it could be a battle of a couple of unknowns at quarterback for both of these teams. But I think Iowa, every other category, they own. I mean, Wisconsin does not commit a lot of penalties. Iowa doesn't either. But Iowa's unbelievable in that category. If you want to look up the national rankings, Iowa is by far the cleanest team in the country as it relates to not committing penalties. Very interesting stat in spite of the 3-2 record. Wisconsin, very good in that category as well. They're well coached. They have had a propensity for turnovers this year. Their turnover margin, not very good. We're not used to seeing that out of Wisconsin Badger teams. So the over-under for this game, Vegas has it at 37.5. Do the math. That means Vegas is seeing this game somewhere in the realm of 21-17, 20-17, somewhere in there. You almost feel uncomfortable with how confident I am that I was going to go up there and win. That does make me feel a little uneasy given the fact that it's just a 3.5-point spread. but I've got Iowa winning and I've got Iowa covering. I don't think it's going to be close. Don't know the last time I said that going to Madison. I certainly didn't say it 2 years ago. They won by 9. It was 15-6. But I'm with a lot of people who say, hey, how's Wisconsin going to score against this Iowa defense? Well, they have a quarterback who can attack the corners. We saw Fernando Mendoza with a good wide receiver core at Indiana kind of struggle to consistently attack Deshaun Lee. They got him a couple of times. TJ Hall's playing really good football. The guy with safeties are playing really good football. Cohen Entringer was our RTI Threads player of the game a week and a half ago. So with that being said, I've got Iowa winning. I've got Iowa covering. I've got a final score of Iowa 24, Wisconsin 10. Iowa 24, Wisconsin 10. A 2-touchdown victory for the Hawkeyes. If Gronowski plays, I could see this getting into the upper 20s. But I do think Wisconsin's defense is good enough to keep Iowa there. I just don't know where the points are going to come from Wisconsin, and I expect a good improvement. And maybe that's what Vegas is looking at. We have not seen the stellar special teams play from Iowa to this point. That's been such a difference. And so, maybe if Iowa's special teams unit improves, which I expect them to, we see a spread like what I've got, Iowa by 14. But certainly 3.5 makes me a little nervous. So we'll wait and see. A reminder, folks, be sure you tune in for our post-game show. It's myself, Coach Don Patterson, Matt Kroll, former Hawkeye defensive lineman, Matt Kroll, special guest. It's going to be really fun this Saturday night, late after the game. Live right here on YouTube. Also, for the first time, we'll be simulcasting on Twitter, on X. So you can check us out on YouTube or on X, live following the game. And one more announcement. Myself and Coach Don Patterson, we will be live on location at Big Grove Brewery in Iowa City this coming Monday, counting down the days to Iowa Penn State. Next Monday evening, time TBD. But be sure you join us next Monday at Big Grove Brewery in Iowa City for another live edition of the show right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy the game Saturday, and we'll talk to you Saturday night.